So this is a 2021 Jeep Wrangler JL Sport S Unlimited with a Dana 30 front axle and a Dana 35 rear axle. Nothing fancy, nothing special. This is exactly what you can expect from the factory for your Jeep Wrangler if it's not a Rubicon or some versions of a Willys trim. Now, as you use your vehicle, whether it is just for regular driving, off-roading, towing, or what have you, naturally, the gears within your differential are going to have wear and tear on them. Within your differentials, there's gear oil that is used to, as you can imagine, lubricate the ring and pinion gears that are making contact, putting power to the wheels, spinning around in there. And just like we do with our engine oil, you have to replace that gear oil as well. And as for the maintenance interval, when we look at Jeep's own owner's manual for the Jeep JL, they specifically state in here that to change front and rear axle fluid if using your vehicle for police, taxi, fleet, off-road, or frequent trailer towing, at an interval of every 4 years or 40,000 miles. Now, I don't entirely agree with that. If you're looking for the components of your vehicle to last as long as possible, I mean, you paid for this thing. I would do the fluid change anyways, even if you don't meet those severe conditions posted here. And even with that, I don't even do 40,000 miles. I actually personally do 20,000 miles because every 20,000 miles, that gives me the opportunity, the ability to get a little bit of a deep dive, see what exactly is going on within my axles to make sure that there's no metal filings, metal chunks, because that could mean there's catastrophic failure occurring within your ring and pinion gears. And also the color of the fluid. Does it look unexpectedly burnt for some reason? Every time I've done my diff fluid changes, which I do believe I've actually done 3 so far within the 52,000 miles that this Jeep has been on the road, the fluid has looked good, actually. And I haven't noticed any weird discoloration or furthermore, chunks, metal filings, things of that nature that you want to be on the lookout for. Every 40,000 miles, that doesn't give you enough time to really be able to get a look into what might be happening in your diffs so you can be aware and just know your vehicle better. Now, also doing it every 20,000 miles, besides having eyes on the fluid, having eyes on the condition, it just makes sure that your differentials, the gears within them, are going to last for as long as possible because once again, it's your Jeep and you want it to last. Now, for the fluid, we have, let's see, what did I pick up? All right, so this is going to be for the rear. Since I do a lot of off-roading and some towing as well, the recommended fluid weight to put in there is 75W 140. It's a thicker viscosity that is recommended for vehicles that tow. I've been towing recently, I've towed in the past, and it even could be recommended if you do off-road regularly with your Jeep. So we got 75W 140 in the back. And the default recommended viscosity weight of oil, 75W90 for the front axle. Obviously, the front axle does not get nearly as much use as the rear. Your rear axle is used 100% of the time you're driving, and the front is only used when you're in four-wheel drive. So the recommended 75W90 for the front is more than sufficient for my purposes and use case. Now, with all this talk about changing our diff fluid in the front and the rear axle, you would think that this is going to be a lot of work and require a decent amount of tools. Well, no, not at all. At least on a 2021 Jeep JL, all you need for that is right down here. You're just going to need a 3/8 inch ratchet with a short extension on it. That's it for this. And then special chemical grade Teflon tape. This here is considered yellow thread tape for gas. You can use this on gas lines, for example, but what we're gonna use this on is our drain and fill plug for both our front diff and rear diff. Now, once again, this is a 2021 Jeep JL. I do believe for later models, it might be 22 or even 23, Jeep apparently got rid of the drain plug on the diffs. Apparently, people were hitting the drain plug on rocks and it was causing issues. So they went back to another style of diffs that simply doesn't have a drain plug. Unfortunately, that means you have to crack the case open the cover, let it all drip out, but we don't have to worry about that on this here Jeep. So once again, 3/8 inch ratchet with a short, like 3-inch extension, and our chemical grade gas Teflon tape. And an oil catch pan, actually. All right, time to get under. Shimmying under this way was not the way to go, although I'm getting a good view of just a few scrapes that I should paint today. We're making it. Okay. So, as you can see here, we've crawled our way up. It's much easier to access it from the front, but we've crawled our way up to our front Dana 30. We have the fill plug right up here and our drain plug right down here with a little bit of stuff in there. Nice. I actually have, as you can see, a rough country diff skid for both the front and the rear. These have held up extremely well with all of all of the hits that I've given them over the years. So, all right. So what we're gonna do, nice, is first we're going to go ahead and loosen up this fill plug. You want to do that because if you drain out your diff and then all of a sudden you can't open that fill plug, you ain't going anywhere. So we're gonna loosen that fill plug up first, make sure it's able to be cracked, and then we're gonna go ahead, pull an oil drain pan underneath here, crack this drain plug, and let the diff drain out. I'm gonna reposition myself because my neck hurts. Okay. And now we're going to take our 3/8 inch ratchet with our extension. As you can see, the receiver on this ratchet right here matches right up with both the fill plug and also the drain plug. It's just a square. So we're going to go ahead, push this in, and try to crack it open. Might have to oh, geez. All right, hang on. So what I'm going to want to do is take our pipe right here. Now let's see if we can't persuade this to go. There it goes. Okay. We just needed some leverage to break up this gunk. Yeah. All right. Now we've gotten this fill plug loosened, and let's see if we could just by hand take it out. Look at that. And just like that, we got our fill plug out. You could see the old Teflon on there. We'll go ahead with some brake clean, blast that off before we put this back on when everything's done. I smell the gear oil already. It smells like sulfur. It's definitely much different than your engine oil, that's for sure. All right, now that we've gotten our fill plug loosened up on our front Dana 30, we're gonna go ahead, get a drain pan under here, and let's try, I'll probably use the bar as well. We'll try to go ahead. I got it felt right there. Put this over, and look at that, easy moving on our drain plug here. All right, that's loose enough. Let's see. I'm gonna actually take the ratchet off. And I try my best not to get gear oil on my hands, but I think these gloves are doomed. All right, that plug is loose. There we go, perfect. As you can see, that oil in the front, that's good. Barely even torched. So it's all right though. You know, it's better to do more maintenance than necessary because it makes your stuff last longer, truly. And as you can see on our drain plug, it actually does have a magnet on it. And that's meant to catch any metal shavings and filings that will occur due to the normal wear and tear of the ring and pinion gears making contact within the differential. And we don't have any chunks on here. That's just fine metal dust, which is expected. We'll get that cleaned off as well before we reattach this drain plug back into place. I've gotten the drain plug cleaned up. We're gonna go ahead, get some of our Teflon, rip a piece off around the threads. That should be perfect. Now we'll take our 3-inch extension or 3/8 extension, reach up in, start by hand tightening. Let's see, it looks like the tape actually came off the threads. Let's see. It did. I'm gonna redo that. Interesting. Get that old tape out now. All right, let's try it a second time. This up there. Okay. Now, one other tool I did forget to mention is a 3/8 inch torque wrench. So we're gonna put our extension on here and we're gonna torque this down to 25 foot-pounds. Okay, perfect. We're gonna go ahead and we are going to start filling our diff. Once again, this is the front Dana 30 and we're gonna fill it with 75W90. So, I know I showed you guys those flexible bottles before, those squeezable bottles, but I actually have an old bottle of 75W90 from my last fluid change. Might as well use it. So we're gonna go ahead, take our tube with this pump right here that's already attached to it, and we're just gonna start pumping. And how you fill your diff is you pump until it starts dripping out. So we're just gonna pump for quite a little bit. All right, this bottle is empty. So now I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to the squeeze bottle. Let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and just shove it in there and squeeze. So I think I already put 3/4 of a quart in. Oh, there we go. And we're dripping now. So let me just wait for that. Give it a little bit more. Oh yeah, we're dripping out a lot. Okay. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and start threading. That's looking good to me. Okay. And now we're gonna take our 3/8" ratchet, get the extension off of our torque wrench, and start tightening down. Okay. Switch over to our torque wrench that's set to 25 foot-pounds. Let's get this finished. Perfect. Okay, and just like that, we've successfully drained our front Dana 30 differential of all its old fluid, about 7,500 miles old. It didn't look too burnt at all, but that's all right. We put nice, fresh 75 W90 fluid in, closed it all up, 25 foot-pounds on both our drain plug and our fill plug. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead, get this mess all cleaned up. I didn't make too much of a mess, thankfully, just little drops here, but get this all cleaned up, and we're going to move to the rear Dana 35. All right. And now, just like the front, we're going to go ahead and get this cracked open, our fill plug on the Dana 35 in the rear. Let's go ahead, use our bar for leverage. That is on there. There it goes. There we go. All right. Okay. We're able to successfully remove our fill plug in the rear. Okay, put that aside. Let's check it out real quick. Oh yeah, it's already dripping out. So I had that nice and filled initially. All right. Well, let's go ahead and let's see what this fluid looks like. Like I said, it's got 7,500 miles on it. Some pretty decent off-roading recently, as well as 2,000 miles of towing. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, remove the ratchet, keep the extension. Wasn't exactly loose yet, okay. I got the front out without getting myself all oily, and the rear as well. I dropped the plug in there. I'll fish that out with a rubber glove. But yeah, even our rear oil looks pretty good. A little, just a tiny bit darker than the front, but nothing much. So these diffs are looking good right now. All right, I'm gonna have to get that drain plug fished out. I want to check the magnet on it, see if there's any metal shavings, you know, big metal filings on there. But let's let this drain out. Alrighty, I think it was right here. There we go. Oh, and she looks good. Yep, nothing crazy on there at all. Just the typical metal dust. That's what it is. It's just some metal dust that gathers in the bottom, collects onto your magnet. All right, so let this drip out for a few minutes while I clean this up as well as the fill plug. We'll put the drain plug back in place and we'll start filling this rear with some 75W 140 gear oil. Awesome. I got some painting to do after this. Just a little bit, some scrapes, nothing much. Alrighty. All right, so we've had the diff draining for about 5-10 minutes. I've gone ahead, cleaned off both the drain and fill plug, put new thread tape on them. They're ready to go. So what we're gonna do now, let me get a little rag. This is still dripping just a little bit, just some excess drippage. I'm gonna go get our freshly cleaned drain plug with our extension. Just clean that off just a tad more and thread it in. Let's see, there we go. Going nicely in by hand. Okay, and now with our torque wrench, 25 foot-pounds. Perfect. Make sure, yep, that's at 25. All right, we're gonna go ahead now and use our 75W140 gear oil. Once again, I had a little bit left from a previous fill, so what we're gonna do is just try and use, nice job, good job. Oh, did I actually get it in the pan? Huh, lucky me, I did. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get this pumped with whatever's left in here. Ooh, boy, that was close. Whatever's left in this one. All right, let's see how much more we could get. Okay. All right. And now that we've used everything in that bottle, let's go ahead. I've got our squeeze bag ready. All right. And let's get that in there without spilling much, if anything. Okay. No spill. We're going to go ahead and just squeeze from the back. And I'm able to watch from under here. Yeah, we're almost at the end of the bag. Let's see. Do we have just enough? Well, that's that bag. I think there is some fluid left. Not much at all, actually. All right. Well, we're right at the fill, like right there. So what I'm gonna do, because I wanna make sure we have enough fluid, and apparently I don't have enough 140, I'm gonna top this off with this mostly full bag of 90 right here. So we're gonna go ahead and just try to top this off. And there we go. We're getting a proper drip now. So that means we are topped off with gear oil. Look at that. I kind of squeezed a lot. All right, and let's try to save as much in there as possible. Let's go ahead with our fill plug and get it threaded on. All right. This is gonna be 25 foot-pounds. Perfect. All right. So now we successfully drained our Dana 35 diff. We removed the fill plug, removed the drain plug, cleaned both of those off, reinserted the drain plug with thread tape on it, and fully filled our diff with new gear oil. And now, just like that, we have successfully changed out our differential fluid on both our front Dana 30 and our rear Dana 35 axle on our 2021 Jeep JL Sport S Unlimited. As you guys saw, this is a fairly easy job that you can tackle in your garage or in your driveway. Before I had a garage, I was actually doing this on the street. So it really is a fairly easy job and a really important one that it seems lots of people don't really think about or simply don't know about if they don't know enough about cars, about their own vehicles, unfortunately. And this is a job that can save you a lot of money if you decide to do it yourself rather than bring it to the dealership. It's about $30 to $40 in parts regarding the fluid that you will need for both the front and rear axles, and takes about, when you're not filming and recording all, takes about an hour to do in total, especially on a Jeep where you could just crawl right under and don't even have to bother lifting it up. With all that said, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope that this video helped you learn how to change a differential fluid on your Jeep JL. I hope it saves you some money. And with regular maintenance like this, I can guarantee your axles are gonna last a lot longer than you anticipated, as long as you don't bash them into a bunch of rocks all the time. But even so, regular maintenance like this, changing the fluid on your axles and your diffs is very important. Once again, this Jeep has 52,000 miles on it, and I expect these axles, I expect these gears to last quite a while longer with the frequency that I change the fluid out. So thank you again, and I'll see you guys in the next one.